The sexy woman in purple laughs and says,
I'm glad you're confident.
She then grabs the nerdy man's hand and leads him to a bench that is outside the general walkway through the park. The nerdy man has never had sex in public, but believes that tonight is going to be the night. Julius wanders through the large park, but has no trail or whereabouts of where the two went. There is no need to be clandestine. Julius pulls out his phone and selects the flashlight option. The light is small, but is better than its current vision. Julius does not know for sure if the two came to the park, but all his instincts give him the impression that the two had to be in the park. The nerdy man sits on the park bench, ready for action. The sexy woman in purple straddles the nerdy man's lap and kisses him heavily. Their tongues go into each other's mouths and collide alongside each other. The nerdy man has not kissed a woman in a long time, but he was able to notice how different the lady tasted. Her saliva is nothing like the nerdy man has felt or tasted before. It is somewhat sweet, similar to light honey. The purple-dressed woman starts to feel moisture flowing to her orifice. The purple-dressed woman's heart is beating fast. She is unable to contain herself, and she has to consume him in every way possible. The sexy woman in purple is losing control and is feeling her true self rising inside of her. Her eyes change from being brown and turns into a bright blue color. Her nails turn into claws. The woman continues to kiss the man. Both of their eyes remain closed. Her skin turns bright green and yellow, and her hair turns into a full-grown green afro. The woman feels the change going through her body, but no longer cares. This man belongs to her, every part of him. The sexy woman's tongue grows to its full length and stretches all through the nerdy man's mouth as she turns completely into her Yitra form. The man felt the sexy woman's tongue going down his throat and gags. The man opens his eyes to see the green and yellow creature in front of him. His body shivers at her sight, but he is unable to scream because her tongue is deep in his mouth. The Yitra woman opens her eyes. Her bright blue eyes startle him, and she can feel his fear, which excites her. The Yitra woman grabs the back of the nerdy man's head and continues to kiss him deeply. Her body is reaching its breaking point concerning arousal. Her body desires penetration. The Yitra woman grabs the man by the mouth to muffle his screams and holds his mouth. The Yitra woman tears the nerdy man's shirt off with her claws, leaving claw marks upon his chest. She rips off the man's pants and then places her hand on the man's chest to extract melanin. The nerdy man instantly gets an erection. The Yitra woman excitedly inserts the nerdy man's penis into her dripping hole. The nerdy man has never been inside of a woman so wet, and the nerdy man can feel the walls of her vagina contract in its grip around his penis. The nerdy man is feeling great pleasure, but felt his life was in danger. The Yitra woman is feeling elated as she bounced her ass up and down on the man's lap. The nerdy man is a minute man, so he is unable to contain himself. He is coming every 2 minutes. The nerdy man from the club then loses 2 shades from his skin tone. The Yitra woman is surprised at the amount of cum the nerdy man is pumping out, but finds it to be fascinating. Julius is in the park looking for the woman and then sees a park bench from behind with the nerdy man and a woman hopping on his dick from the shadows. Julius begins to think that he has been too stressed lately and that the woman is just performing a trick.
Go ahead and get your nut on then,
Julius says to himself. Julius then turns to walk back to his car and then hears soft cries for help. Julius turns back around to see the man shaking and convulsing, a visible orgasm. The woman was still pumping her ass on him. Julius notices that the woman had both of the man's hands in her left hand and can see that the man is trying to pull away. The This whole scenario is just too weird for Julius, so he runs towards the bench and points his gun.
Freeze. Release that man before I put a bullet in your ass.
Shouts Julius. Julius points his flashlight at the woman. The woman turns around. Julius flashes his phone flashlight upon her face to unveil her dark blue eyes. The woman's greenish hair is a large nappy fro. Julius utters in surprise.
What the fuck?
The man from the club cries out,
Help me! Help me!
The woman keeps her right hand on the man's chest and drastically increases her intake for removing melanin from the man. His skin becomes lighter rapidly. Julius cannot believe what he is seeing and is unsure of how he should proceed. The woman did not pay any attention to his threat. Julius shoots the woman in the leg. It's a loud blasting sound, and it seems to surprise Deidre. Julius continues.
I warned your ass. Now get on your knees and put your hands on the back of your head.
The bullet penetrates Deidre's thigh. Bright blue blood squirts from the woman's leg. The woman from the club tosses the man on the ground hard, rendering the man unconscious, and comes toward Julius. Julius repeatedly shoots into the woman's chest as blood oozes out of it. Julius has seen enough. He aims his gun at her head, and declares,
This your last chance, bitch.
Julius steps back and shoots her in the head. The bullet puts a hole straight through the skull. Deidre gets down on one knee and looks subdued. Her head falls forward, revealing the exit point of the bullet from her head. Julius believes that everything is over now and puts his gun back in his holster. As he walks closer, he can see the back of her head healing rapidly. Deidre rises fast and keeps coming forward and grabs Julius by the neck. Julius punches the woman in the face hard. The woman punches Julius in the stomach and slams him to the ground. The wound and the bullets automatically push out of the green and yellow lady. The head wound fully heals. The green yellow woman holds Julius down and whispers to him,
You're just my type.
She grabs Julius's crotch with her right hand. The green and yellow woman holds Julius's arms down with her left hand. Julius' arms are held together. The Deidre woman notices handcuffs in the side of Julius's coat. She grabs the cuffs and flips Julius over and handcuffs him from behind the back and then flips him back over. The creature's strength amazes Julius. Julius is in shock of what he sees. Julius has to get away but is unable because the creature is powerful and has just handcuffed him. The green and yellow woman rips his pants off with her right hand.
I was watching you all night. I knew you were watching me. I wanted you as soon as you came into the club.
The green and yellow woman puts her right hand on his thigh and attaches her sticker. Julius feels a surge of arousal flow all the way through his body that he is unable to contain. His balls begin to fill and his dick rises steadily. The Deidre woman is happy to see Julius at his full potential.
I'm glad you found me. I'm going to enjoy this.
The Deidre grabs the Julius' dick and places her lips upon his dick. The Deidre woman sucks Julius into her mouth deeply while using her long tongue and can suck him all the way down to the base of his shaft. Julius has never been with a woman who can do this. The Deidre woman is sucking him hard and violently. Julius is losing control and almost came into Deidre's mouth while shaking. Julius can hold back, much to the surprise of Deidre. Deidre feels that she is being challenged by Julius's ability to keep from coming in her mouth. This standard deep throat style to the base of the cock made every guy come that she had encountered. Deidre continues to suck Julius hard, then stops and removes her lips from Julius' dick and licks her lips. The Deidre woman holds his cock and raises it towards his face. She then places her tongue on his testicles and licks them thoroughly. The Deidre puts one of Julius' balls in her mouth and sucks and licks all in one motion. She protracts her mouth and inserts the other ball in her mouth and sucks and licks both at the same time. Julius has never been with a woman that can put both of his balls in her mouth at one time. feeling is exhilarating. Deidre is sucking hard on his balls, which makes his dick harder and pulse like a heartbeat. Deidre observes the pulsating motion of Julius's penis and becomes entranced by it. Deidre wants the penis in her mouth too. She protracts her mouth, stretching it wider and wider. Julius is scared as Deidre looks like a snake opening her mouth to swallow a meal. The stretching continues. It extends all the way past the tip of his penis. Deidre then slides her mouth all the way down his shaft while still having Julius's balls in her mouth. Deidre sucks it all in, similar to a python sucks and drags prey into their mouth. She keeps sucking back and forth, with her stretched out jaws having complete control over Julius's body. The sight of Deidre sucking him in this manner with her elongated jaw is a frightful sight. Yet Julius is unable to look away. The visual seems an impossible feat. Julius can feel his body giving away to Deidre's supernatural mouth. Julius tries to hold back. He does not want this creature to have the mental pleasure of making him come. But Deidre keeps sucking his whole torso and licking all over his shaft and balls. The stimulation is too much to handle, and Julius's mental will is breaking. Julius feels his balls getting full and feels a hot surge rush over him. He tries to hold back, but shamefully he explodes inside Deidre's mouth. It's a long, full blast, and Deidre keeps sucking while Julius comes, milking everything out of him. Deidre's eyes get wide and her cheek muscles rise in the form of a grin. Julius loses a shade from his skin tone and remains hard and erect. Deidre then climbs on top of him and straddles his waist. The Deidre woman places her feet flat on the grass to get leverage on Julius's dick. She sits down on Julius' dick and pumps her ass up and down slowly to adjust to his size. The green and yellow woman is in ecstasy. Her eyeballs roll upwards. Deidre places her right hand on Julius' chest, attaching the sucker, and goes up and down on Julius. Now used to his size, she rides him like a stallion and is in full rhythm, galloping hard as if she is racing him. Deidre's green and yellow skin perspires from all the riding. Deidre changes her stance and places her knees on the ground while still having Julius inside of her. She does a slow grind in a circular motion with her hips and brings Julius to a climax. Julius comes hard, exploding all the way up inside Deidre. Julius' teeth clenches and his lips shake and quiver. Julius has never been so helpless and undergoes mixed feelings of guilt after coming. Julius keeps getting hard without any rest in between, which bewilders and astonishes him. Normally, Julius would fall fast asleep. In a matter of seconds, he achieves another full-fledged erection. Julius feels humiliated and emasculated and makes a hard effort to raise Deidre off of him. Deidre smiles and laughs as if she is playing with a child.
No. Your ass ain't going nowhere. And the way you just bust inside me, I can tell you want to be right here where you are.
Says Deidre. Deidre climaxes as well and shivers all over. Her nipples harden and her stomach clenches. Deidre leans over to stick her long tongue into his mouth. Deidre moves her tongue all around and through his lips. Deidre then pulls her head back and starts riding Julius harder, and she is close to climaxing again. Julius' hands are stuck behind his back. He pulls on the cuffs as if it will make a difference. He glances at his stomach and perceives his melanin diminishing. Julius is a yellow brother at this point, the shade of beige. Deidre begins to shake again frantically and lets out a loud moan.
Yes.
A weird square-shaped object comes across the Deidre woman's neck, piercing her skin, making blood flow on all angles of her neck. The blood streams all the way down her neck until eventually completely removing her head. The head flops to the ground with Deetra's large, long tongue protruding and blue blood streaming all over the grass. Valencia grabs Deetra's headless torso, dripping with blue blood, and pulls the green and yellow Deetra off of Julius's body. Valencia stares for a moment at Julius to observe the awesome size and strength of his penis. Valencia then flips him over and slices the cuffs off with the square object. Julius gets up and puts on his pants. He then looks at his hands and his skin. His skin tone has lost 2 shades.
What the fuck is this?
Valencia glances at Julius's frame and smirks.
Don't worry, your shade is already wired into your DNA. It will come back.
Valencia looks down at Julius's penis, which is still hard, and smiles. Julius notices that Valencia was looking down at his penis and grumbles.
Please stop staring.
Julius ties his dress shirt around his waist. He looks at Valencia carefully.
Did you use me as bait? That creature says she's aware of me watching her and lured me out here.
The green and yellow Deetra's body immediately begins to turn blue and decompose. The blue ooze disintegrates. Julius notices the nerdy man on the ground knocked out, but he could see his stomach going up and down. He is still breathing. Julius picks up his cell phone and calls the police and ambulance to pick the man up. Valencia looks around.
We need to get out of this area,
she says urgently. Julius walks back in the direction he came from. The drunk wino observes Julius shirtless with his clothes tied around his waist like a diaper. The wino holds his bottle in his hand, which has a brown paper bag over it. The wino pulls the brown paper bag down to check what he is drinking, and then looks back at Julius.
You look like you need some dollars now.
Julius glances at the wino, laughing at him, and shakes his head. Julius takes Valencia back to his car. He puts the key in the ignition and cranks up the engine and starts driving a couple of blocks.
No more games. You're gonna tell me everything, otherwise I'm gonna put you out my car.
Valencia smirks.
Well, since you're going to put it that way, I'm going to start from the beginning. Apparently, you may have figured out that I am not from this area.
Julius' eyebrows raise up.
What do you mean, not from here? Are you telling me this is not a new government eugenic experiment on black men?
Valencia continues to smile and shakes her head sideways. Julius looks into the sky.
I know you're not telling me you and that lady are aliens.
Julius looks at Valencia's face.
Oh shit.
Julius takes a deep breath and quickly inquired,
why are black men being targeted?
Valencia stares out the window.
I have been chasing the group that arrived here for a year. I found that they recently crashed here on the planet.
Valencia adjusted her dress in the mirror and continued.
The melanin that you have in your skin reacts like a drug in our system when we absorb it. We used to have plants that contain similar types of melanin that you have on your skin, but overconsumption occurred and the plants became extinct.
Julius looks perplexed.
So why do they only target black men?
Valencia looks to the stars.
Yes, melanin is in all of you, and believe me, if melanin is all one of us wants, then they will feed off a female with no problem. But one of the side effects of melanin is that it makes us sexual as well. We are attracted to women, since that's all we have on the planet. Unfortunately, our world's males went extinct a long time ago. So having a man in that state of being high becomes a priority.
Julius enters the highway.
How's that possible?
There was a radical feminist organization that decided our culture no longer needed males. They created a disease that attacked the Y chromosome.
Julius checked his watch for the time.
Now that I know what they're looking for, I know how to hunt them.
Valencia tells Julius that she needs to get some supplies. and ask him to let her out on the street.